Hi, it's Rich Hoffman here. You have to kind of reflect a little bit I think when you're on the winning side, the challenge is how do you keep winning? If you had to be a ragtag bunch of rebel rousers to win power, then what do you do when you have to keep it? How do you stay a winning team? Because being rambunctious and cutting edge pushers, people who break the box of thinking that sometimes keeps ideas confined. What do you do once you've won that status? How do you keep it or change it up a little bit so you can maintain it? And I think that's where we find ourselves going to 2025. Trump being inaugurated and returning to the White House. You have to kind of admit some things to yourself. And I think we're going through a period now where we're looking at all the woke stuff, all the DEI stuff. I heard as much as Larry Fink has been Mr. Pro globalist DEI advocate to all the CEOs out there, he's been, him and Disney and everybody are saying, no, we're going to get back to values-driven marketplace. All the values that come from the creation of good content for the sake of goodness, not for some DEI measure. So now we're reflecting, now that we had to admit that it was a failure, reluctantly, and only because Trump is going back into office. Only then were we willing to admit that it was a problem, and now we're reflecting on what we can do about it. What is it that we can do to fix the problem? And that is the vacancy of valor and honor and the kind of things we think of as being the elements of a good society. So we had a big snowstorm in Cincinnati, and it was pretty. I don't consider any of this to be all that bad. It was a pretty average snowstorm as far as I'm concerned. About 7 inches of snow, but the news and everybody, it was the White Death, and they really played it up and play on people's fears, and it was just like the kind of stuff they do with COVID, and make a big deal about something that really is something that's quite manageable. When I was a kid, people would have went to work, they wouldn't have called off, schools would have been pretty much open. I think anything over 3 or 4 inches, you might have had a closure or a delay, but these days, if the clouds get a little dark, they call everything off, and the news porn drives it. I watched some of the local people here in Cincinnati, and they just that was their ratings gold. And people were glued to find out if they had to go out and get a bunch of supplies at the store, and they just overreacted. And then as a result, the day of the snowstorm, pretty much the world came to an end. Now, I conducted my life like normal. I had no problem getting around town, not a bit of problem at all. And I thought it was ridiculous that anybody thought it was terrible. But the world came to an end, and our capitalist society paused. I think foolishly, over some snow. What you do as a human being is you dominate nature. You don't subvert yourself to it. You don't bend the knee to it. You dominate it. You get in your car and you drive through it. If you got a four-wheel drive, you go over all this stuff, and you don't let it impede what it is you want to do. But a lot of people thought I was unfair about it. I was very critical of people who use the snow as an excuse to not go to work and not do anything in life, and to sort of check out and sit around and watch Netflix all day. I don't have a lot of respect for people like that. So then that led to the question, well, who do you respect? Who do you think is good? What does it take to impress you? What do you think we should be doing as a society? And I'm just telling you, I know people who are pretty tough, and I tend to relate to that kind of thing. And calling off for snow isn't it. And so what do I think is tough? Well, just yesterday, I had a good friend of mine slipped and fell on a patch of ice, and cracked his head open in a really severe way. Now, he wanted to keep doing what he was doing, but he had blood gushing out everywhere. It was pretty bad cut, even by my terms. Now, I've been in situations where I've had bones sticking out and had serious cuts where you could see inside your body easily. And so, cuts to me, those are cuts. The little things that you get a few stitches don't really register on the Richter scale, as far as I'm concerned. But he had one that was pretty serious. You could see his skull easily, and it was big bad cut. So he went to get all stitched up. They put nine staples in his head, not just stitches, staples. And you know what? That guy went back to work, and he didn't miss a single minute. And he didn't have light duty or anything for what he had to do for his job. He just toughed it out and went back and reported for duty like normal. And he drove in snow and did all the things. He had every excuse in the world to maybe even take a few months off. But he values being tough and fighting through things. And he came to work to his job, and he did his thing like normal. That's the kind of thing I respect. I don't respect people who use weather and inclement conditions and personal tragedies and things like that to get out of working. I think it's stupid, and I don't have a lot of respect for it. And I think if you want to make America great again, you got to be great again as a person. It takes a lot of people to make America great again. You can't just talk about it. You got to actually be it. And you're not going to be great again if it's snowing a little bit outside and you stay home and watch TV all day and are unproductive. And you use tragedy and circumstances and weather as an excuse to not accomplish what it is you're supposed to be accomplishing in life. So when you use elements like that as a reason not to do something, and you hide behind a collective sentiment that it's dangerous, you got to yield to danger. You have to yield to the weather. You can't control these things. You have to be subservient to it. It's really a subtle message to say individual strength and valor and ingenuity, innovation play second fiddle to the elements of chaos in the universe. And one of the reasons why he continued going to work, my friend, after he split his head open, is because he didn't want to yield to those elements. Yeah, he slipped on some ice, cracked his head open in a severe way, but his first inclination was to overcome it and to dominate the situation. And he returned from the doctor, and he showed me all the staples in his head, and he went on about his life like nothing ever happened. And I thought that's a rare thing in the world these days, but it shouldn't be. That should be common. That should be the norm. The normal way of operating is to have a tragedy and overcome it quickly, no matter how serious it is, and get back on your feet. And I can say personally with me, I've had surgery where you're supposed to be out for 3 or 4 months, and I report back to what I need to be doing the following Monday. If the surgery is done on a Thursday or Friday, I've taken 3 months and compressed it down to 3 days or 2 days. That's what I expect. So when people say, what do you expect out of people? Well, that's what I expect out of people. I expect people to be like my friend. I expect people to do like I've done. I don't expect circumstances to change your behavior. I expect intellect and human ingenuity to overcome all oppositions. And when you have days like this where a lot of snow's out and it's cold, bitterly cold and dangerous, you invent tools. You come up with new coats, and you come up with nice cars and have heaters in them. Get good tires for your car. You can plow through some of this stuff. You use tools to overcome the impediments of nature and show it does not have mastery over you. That's what I think is the right way to go, and that's what I respect. And when people are wondering, well, what are we supposed to do when the news told us to call off? Just like the idiots that told you that COVID, you're supposed to socially distance and you're supposed to yield to this virus when we're supposed to dominate and control it through science and innovation. The message from the modern society types, the ones that we're assessing now, that whether we should have listened to them or not ever, we're now assessing we shouldn't have listened to them. We shouldn't let these experts and these soft shell people tell us how to conduct our lives. We got to get back to being tough. You got to get back to going to work, even when it snows. And if you crack your head open in a parking lot, and you got to get nine staples to hold your head together, that you get back to work as soon as possible and do your thing. And you don't let it stop you. You take reasonable measures to deal with it, but you don't let it change the boldness and valor of your life and those who depend on you for whatever it is you bring to the world. You don't stop it just because there's some little disaster that happened. You quickly find a way to overcome it and use your mind and intellect to achieve greatness despite the conditions. That's what I expect, and that's what I think making America great again is all about. And if I have to change some of these little messages to talk more about what makes America great, or what makes a person great again, or makes a person great to begin with, I think we have to start thinking about things in that way, because it's not enough just to be a rebel rouser and to get scream and kick to get what you want. You have to actually have the boldness to manage that life and to actually be good and be bold and be respectful so people can follow you. And that's how you take the opportunity we have now, with an opportunity to make America great again, by doing it to make people great again. And they clearly have not, because they've listened to too many Democrats and too many radical leftists and too many health people who want to just put you on prescription medicine and make a lot of money off your demise condition. We need to get away from that and start being proactive and making ourselves great again, in the process making our society great again. And I think that's what is the task before us now. If you crack your head open and have to get 9 staples to hold your head together and keep your brains from falling out, you get back to work as soon as you can. You don't cry about it like a baby, and you show people that what you're all about is toughness and perseverance and not yielding to tragedy. You overcome it and beat it. That's what you do. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. See you later.